In this video, we'll be talking about the difference between the average velocity and the instantaneous velocity. The average velocity is the total, the displacement divided by the time. So let's first calculate the average velocity. Average velocity. In order to calculate the average velocity, you need to know the initial position and the final position. Here it is asking you to calculate the average velocity between the time 1 second and the time 5 seconds. So in order to know or calculate the average velocity between these two times, you need to know the position of the object at this time. What is the position at time t equals to 1 second, and what is the position at time t equals to 5 seconds. So we can calculate, so the position as a function of time is given, which is 2 minus 5t plus 3t squared. So I can calculate the position at the two times. Time equals to 1 second. So 2 minus 5 times 1 plus 3. 3 times 1 square. So if we calculate, what I get is, I will get 0 meters. So at the time t equals to 1 second, the position was at origin 0 meter. In the same way, I can calculate the position at time equals to 5 seconds. I'm just plugging time equals to 5 seconds into this equation. 2 minus 5 times 5 plus 3 times 5 squared. 5 squared is 25 times 3, 75, minus 25, 50 times 2. It will give you 52 meter. 52 meter. So this is the final position. This is the final position, and this is the initial position. So the average velocity is denoted by V bar, and it is defined as the final position minus the initial position divided by the final time minus the initial time. The final position is 52 meter and the initial position is 0 meter. The final time is 5 minus 1, and if we do the math, you will get 13.5 meter per second. That is the average velocity. Now let's calculate the instantaneous velocity. The instantaneous velocity is given by the rate of change of position. That means dxt over dt. That gives you the instantaneous velocity. So d, we have to do the first derivative of the position, which is now 2 minus 5t plus 3 t squared. So this is a constant, 2 is a constant, so if I take a time derivative, it will be 0. Minus 5, and it will be 6 times t. If you want to know how to take the time derivative, please watch my other videos, how to do the derivatives. So what I get is minus 5 plus 6 times t. This is the Vt, or the instantaneous velocity. Now what is asking here, find the car's instantaneous velocity at time t equals to 1 second and time t equals to 5 seconds. So how do we find out the instantaneous velocity in 1 second? v1. Just plug in this equation, minus 5 plus 6, you will get 1 meter per second. So at the time equals to 1 second, it was moving with 1 meter per second. And now at the time t equals to 5 seconds, minus 5 plus 6 times 5. 30 minus 5 is 25 meter per second. Now at time equals to 5 seconds, it is moving at 25 meter per second. So the particle has accelerated. But now this is how do you calculate the average velocity and the instantaneous velocity. Again, in order to calculate the average velocity, you need to know the position, your initial position and the final position, and then you calculate the displacement by calculating final position minus initial position. But in order to calculate the instantaneous velocity, you take the time derivative. That's how you calculate the instantaneous velocity and the average velocity.